While the relentless winter of 2014 continues its stranglehold on the rest of Canada, things are heating up here in Saint-Sauveur, Quebec, as we prepare for the country's most anticipated snowboarding event of the year. Competing for over $50,000 in prize purse, we have some of the best athletes on the planet. Welcome to the 13th edition of the Ride Shakedown, presented by Videotron Mobile. Once again, we've pulled out all the stops in order to build the most impressive jump in the history of the event, giving all these athletes every opportunity to lay it on the line. Both the setup as well as this talented lineup of riders provides the potential for just about anything. What's happening? I'm Pete Anderson. Sitting next to me once again, my good friend Brett Sanford. We're here in Mount Saint-Sauveur, Quebec for the 2014 Ride Shakedown. Brett, the crowd is gathering, the energy is high, and we are about to bear witness to the semifinals.
Well, that's right, Pete. Things are going to go next level with an international field of the world's best riders battling over a $50,000 prize purse.
That's a lot of cake.
That's a lot of quiche.
All right, man, before we get started, let's take a look at this brand new, always evolving Ride Shakedown course.
Well, the rail garden is comprised of two main areas. The first is a 30-stair feature with 3 rail options where our riders can do classic skateboard-style tricks or get creative by transferring between takeoffs and rails. The second is a pole jam gap-to-down rail feature where some bigger ticket tricks and combos can go down.
And once again, upping the ante here at the Ride Shakedown, Videotron Mobile, balcony seating above the rail garden. We're all set up for the Ride Shakedown finals. Let's do this.
So these riders in the 2-hour semifinal jam, they can ride as much as they want, and then they call a judged run where they actually call the trick that they're gonna do, and they have to stick to it. So they have to call the trick off the jump. They have free reign in the rail setup, Peter, but off the jump, they have to do the trick they call, and if they don't, even if they land it, it doesn't get scored. It gets thrown away. Their score gets thrown away. So they have to land whatever they say they're gonna land. So it's a very interesting format, and these guys have, as I said, up to 2 hours to get their runs together, and then they just are up at the top and they say, hey, I want this one judged. The judges, you know, they pay attention, watch the run, and then they get scored.
And then that's, it's weighted 50-50, correct?
That's right, that's right. The weighting on the course here is 50% for their jump trick, and the other half of their score coming together in the Videotron Mobile rail garden here. So, yeah, you know, it's always been a great contest and a great show here at the Ride Shakedown because, you know, it's evenly weighted and there's progression on both the jump and in the rail setup, so it really forces the riders to you know, give it all they can, and so it's great they get so much practice time to get their run together.
Definitely, and you know, they get into their groove, they get into their, you know, they start to really feel it.
Well, yeah, I mean, this event is run by snowboarders, you know, and they understand what it takes to ride at your highest level, and it's like you got to get warmed up, and you got to feel comfortable, and you got to say, hey, you know, like, this is the run I'm going to do. I'm ready to do it. You can't just stand up there in the cold for half an hour and wait to drop in. I mean, that's not how it works.
Oh, yeah. What do we have here? 65, 70-foot step-down booter of death, and then into this rail labyrinth, you know, with unbelievable opportunities. That was massive.
Yeah, that was a big backside 720 chicken wing right there. Big Japan tweak.
But sorry, what I was getting at is, you know, that this isn't the snowboard contests of yesteryear where one run or 2 runs are going to decide it. You know, you need to really get out there, get a feel for the course, get your confidence up for one, especially in these conditions. These are tough conditions. It's snowy here in Saint-Sauveur. You know, things in terms of speed, judging your speed, visibility. You know, they've had to mark the landing so that these guys can see what's coming up, know which way's up and which way's down. So a lot of factors at play here.
Yeah, I mean, even with all that, I mean, this is a real treat for these riders to ride this course, because this is, like, when you take a look at the rail garden, I mean, yeah, the jump is a, you know, it's a big jump. It rides really well, the guys were telling me. But the rail setup is something that it's very unique, and this is something you don't get to ride every day. So I think the riders can really get pumped up, even when the weather conditions are challenging. They're like, hey, look at this rail setup. It's really well built, and it's always been built to progress on. It's not something you have to ride against. This is something that you can further your riding on and ride better and, you know, achieve personal bests on, and, you know, have like a really good session.
You can find jumps this big out there to be able to learn and train on in the park. You know, usually it's an advanced park of sorts, but still, you can still find them.
Yep.
But a rail complex like this only comes along once a year.
Absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. This is not something you see every day, and the riders recognize that, and I think that's why Shakedown attracts, you know, some of the world's best riders. So here's our first judge run. Big backside 1080 double cork, just sitting that one down. So here, Peter, we have a best run counts format.
That was Jack Harold, one of our 18-year-old competitors coming up from the U.S., and, you know, we have a full international lineup. We got, obviously, Americans, obviously Canadians. We got a Japanese rider, Norway. You know, it's a lot of people making the trip here. That's just the caliber of the Ride Shakedown.
Well, Peter, I mean, first judge run starts with a backside 1080 double cork. I think that sends a message to the rest of the field where it's like, that's gonna be where the bar starts here at Shakedown. Whereas a lot of these guys' safety tricks we're seeing happen in warm-ups are, you know, a lot of backside 720s, you know, some cab 900s. Strategy, you know, obviously a factor in all snowboard contests, but more so here, because you can put something down. If you put something like that down really early, you send a message to the rest of the competitive field.
Yeah, and talking to some of these guys, like Mats Kulisek, for example, yesterday, talking to him, he likes to nail his trick before going up, you know, going back to the topping and calling it and doing it again. Whereas some of the guys, like John Versteeg, for example, he likes to just feel it. You know, maybe he's doing 7s or maybe he's doing 9s, and he's like, you know what? This is it. This is the 12. I'm feeling it. So then he'll call it at the top, and that'll be his first attempt for the day. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys like to high mark on their judge runs for sure, and that's something that's really common here. And here we have another judged run dropping in here, Peter.
We sure do. We have Mark Hoyt dropping in. So he's now called his trick, and this is make or break time, really. He gets two kicks at the can here in the semifinals.
Mark Hoyt coming off the lip. Frontside 1080 double cork, grabbing Mellon right there. Not able to put the landing gear down. He's gonna have another chance to either do that trick or a different trick. And there's the backside 180 switch backside 50 revert out on that middle rail. So, man, Mark Hoyt puts that run together. I mean, that's a serious contender. Both a a very solid jump trick and a great rail trick. Some runs coming together here as the crowd starts to build, and obviously there'll be a capacity crowd here for the finals, the main event coming up this evening. Right now, this is semifinal action.
Yeah, they certainly know how to throw a party here at the Ride Shakedown.
Wow, and a wild run there from John Versteeg, making the trip from Whistler, British Columbia.
So dropping in next, Brett, we have Justin. This is one of his 2 judged runs.
Here he comes dropping in. Justin DeCastris off the lip here. Oh, doing a huge 1080, landing so deep in that landing. Coming in, playing it safe there on the down rail. And there you see the strategy at play there. you know, getting an absolutely huge 1080, making sure he makes it into that landing, and he's like, even if I'm gonna land deep, I'm gonna put the landing gear down. Gets the gear down and says, okay, calm down, let's do a basic rail trick here and try to keep this run together, because a lot of riders falling right now.
Dropping it next. Judged run.
Calling out a backside double cork 1080, trying to set the level here with the backside 1080 double cork. Here he comes dropping in, Pete.
I'm wondering if these days, if the 10 is just not enough on jumps this big, I mean.
Well, he put the landing gear down so clean there into the rail setup, going with the front side 270 lip. Oh, and just sitting it down. Pete, that's tough to see after putting down the landing gear so solid there on that backside 1080 double cork.
Yeah, you know, you're just coming in so hot, your adrenaline is through the roof, and he just carried a little bit too much speed into that rail, and unfortunately sat down. So up next, Brendan Davis.
Calling a cab 1260 here, 18 years old, American rider Brendan Davis. Now this is gonna be a trick that if he's able to put it down and couple it with a good trick in the rail garden, this is gonna be something that's gonna hopefully catapult him into the finals, because it's a very high level trick. Coming in switch. Here he is, Brendan Davis. Oh, and just putting his hand down there, Pete. So I don't know what that's going to do, but my goodness, there's a 50-50 backside 450 to fakie off the pole jam. Wow. Well, I mean, if that run is put down with no hands, Pete, I got to say, he's going to the finals.
Oh, yeah. He pat the dog a little bit on the landing, which was very unfortunate, especially after that rail performance. So,
wow.
You know, but we got to see what the other competitors got, right? But yeah, that's a contender for sure. But he can call that again because he didn't land it.
Yeah, absolutely. And only the best run counting in the semifinals. That changes in the finals, a different format in the finals that even further fosters progression. But for now, in the semifinals, 2 judge run, best run counts. But that was a sick frontside 1080 double cork.
That's a spin where you're coming in blind for the landing. That is not easy to do. But here, in the start gate, Maxence Perot, and he has called, Brett, I don't know, I think I missed it. What did he call?
Cab 1260 double cork. So Maxence trying to send a message right here to the rest of the field. Here he is coming in switch off the lip. Oh, putting it down, Pete. So clean. Maxence Perot into the rail garden. There's a backside lip slide. There you go. The level has officially been upped here, Peter. Look at that cab 1260 double cork. Wow.
That was huge. Maxence Perot showing us the skills that got him to Sochi this year. One of the youngest competitors on the Canadian national snowboard team.
Which really makes me curious as to what we can expect to see coming up in the main event this evening's finals.
We're gonna take a quick break from the semifinals, but sit tight. A lot of action still to come from the 2014 Ride Shakedown. Welcome back. Hope you're able to get some popcorn in that quick commercial break. Let's get back to the action here at the Ride Shakedown, presented by Videotron.
Well, Peter, we got another judged run here. Justin DeCastris going for the front side 1260. You know, most of the 1260s we've seen so far attempted, all of them, in fact, has been switch front side. So here he's going to take off regular and land switch. Let's see what the judges make of this. Justin DeCastris off the lip.
Oh.
Not quite getting the right pop, not quite getting the right momentum. It's going to do it for Justin DeCastris as he rides down the stairs in the Videotron Mobile Rail Garden.
Yeah, they call that the rollover and the landing there for those of you not really you know, educated in the old shred terminology. They call that rollover and the landing the knuckle. Oh, and case in point, that's exactly why it's called the knuckle, because when you hit it like that, it certainly feels like getting punched.
Yeah, it's not a nice feeling, and like we've been talking with these changing snow conditions, Peter.
But we've got Seamus O'Connor dropping in, and, you know, again, exactly what you were just talking about. We got a frontside 9 double cork called by Seamus.
Well, Seamus, only 16 years of age, and there it is, putting it down, getting away with it there. Seamus O'Connor coming in switch here, switchboard slide, 270 out. We got a stomp run right there from Seamus O'Connor. Great. Putting down the front side 900 double cork. So a little bit of a different look. We usually see that trick done switch to regular, Pete. So it'd be interesting to see what the judges say with that, going the more unconventional way, taking off regular and landing switch, and then coming in with the switch board slide 270 out on the 30 stair down rail.
And, you know, we got a nice little replay here. I'm not a huge fan of that type of spin, but, you know, it is what it is.
Well, definitely a little bit more flippy of a look, the more end-over-end type look. So, you know, I definitely prefer to see the off-axis spinning, and I wonder what the judges are going to put together with that here.
Coming up next, we've got Brandon Davis, and he's called the Cab 12.
Called it again. Called it again.
Yeah.
You know, best run counts here, folks. So although Brandon Davis did try this in his first judge run, did not land it, he's going to give it another shot here, and he's able to do that. Here he is off the lip. Brandon Davis, oh, and just sitting that down, landing deep enough in the landing there, Pete. Looks like he had enough mustard to get it around. And look at that, with the 50-50 judging breakdown, half your score on the jump, half your score on the rails. That would be a very high-scoring rail trick there had he put the jump down.
With the level of riding on jumps and then on rails getting so high, a lot of today's snowboarders, they'll focus on one or the other and excel on one or the other. So you see some of these guys will drop in and they'll crush the jump and then maybe go conservative on the rail and vice versa. But here, everybody gets a chance.
Whoa, and we have a very interesting thing happening on course right now. Our rider on course has broken both feet out of his bindings, and his binding is going down. His board is going down the hill without him.
Whoa, the crowd is going crazy. I have been in this game for a long, long time. Perhaps too long than I care to mention. I have never seen that before. He just tore both bindings out of his board. That is the force of impact they have off of this giant booter.
Seriously. Speechless in the broadcast booth here as one of our riders has broken out both of his bindings off of his snowboard.
What do we have there? Back
Look at
12?
that. That was a backside 1080 there. That's Sebastian Touton, former Shakedown champion. I mean, obviously no stranger to the competitive circuit, slope style, and in big air. So a mainstay here at the Ride Shakedown. We'll get our next judge run coming in here. This is Mark Hoyt, frontside 1080. Here he is off the lip, double cork. There you go, Pete, putting it down. Mark Hoyt putting together his bid here. Frontside board slide, getting it down the middle rail there on the 30 stair. Great run there. Frontside 1080 double cork to a frontside board slide in the Videotron Mobile Rail Garden. Mark Hoyt giving us a preview of, I believe, what we're going to see in the finals.
Yeah, just when we were saying that the weather conditions aren't going to allow for the mayhem, he pulls that out.
Yeah, things definitely starting to heat up here at the 2014 Ride Shakedown. This is the semi-finals right now, in case you're just joining us. And our riders having a jam session. They get 2 judged runs. They must call their tricks. Only the best run counts. The best judge run counts. Look at that. Backside double cork, 1260 right there. It's safe to say our riders are warming up here, Pete. First backside 1260 double cork we've seen today.
Dare I say the first 12 doubles that we've seen that's been stomped.
Yeah, well, we saw one, we saw Brendan Davis put down the landing gear there on that cab 1260 double cork. But yeah, the first backside one we've seen and stomped very, very cleanly. We're seeing more and more double corks here coming together. And calling a judged run, our third place finisher from Ride Shakedown 2013 Whistler rider John Versteeg. He's called his trick a backside 1080. I would say that this is on autopilot. I know we have some challenging conditions here, Pete, but this is going to be a pretty stock trick for John. He'll probably do the tail grab and the spin. That's where he's most comfortable. And we'll see what he's able to put together, dropping in Whistler. John Versteeg going for the backside 1080 tail grab. Let's see it, Pete. Wow, coming up a little bit short, having some issues, and John spinning backside with the dog leg of the in-run is gonna pose some speed problems there. Let's take a look at the replay.
This is a hard bail. Just a triple bounce, doesn't know which way is up, getting tossed off the knuckle. Really, really unfortunate for John Versteeg, and you take a look at him there, he just he doesn't know what hit him. So it looks like we got one of our amateur riders that came up through the qualification process.
Yeah, that was the event we had yesterday, right before the Coors Light Rail Jam. Did an amateur qualification event. So only 3 riders coming up through that process. Philippe Fournier, one of them, calling a backside 900. Here he is off the lip. Oh, and just landing a little heel heavy. I think he went just maybe a tiny little bit bigger than he thought he was going to. Wasn't quite ready when he put his board down, transferred his weight to his heels and fell over backwards, and just fell over. If he was able to hold on, he probably would have been able to get away with that. Coming up next, Sebastien Touton.
Sebastien Touton, local hero when you get right down to it. And you can see there just the focus and the concentration. So he's going to be coming around on his toes.
Yeah, you're right, Pete. He's going to be perfectly set up for this backside 1080. Great trick choice here. There it is. 1, 2. Oh, my goodness.
Whoa.
Unbelievable to see him fall on that.
Now this is extremely interesting when you talk about this event, who's here. This, in essence, is a changing of the guard. And,
wow.
And he's barely over 20.
You're absolutely right. Shocking to see Sebastien Touton not be able to put that down. I mean, obviously a testament to some of the weather conditions that are happening here. But yeah, I mean, borderline speechless here in the broadcasting booth.
So as it stands right now, sitting in first place, we got Maxence Perrault. In second, Mark Hoyt. Third, Emile Ulsetten. Fourth, Seamus O'Connor. And in fifth, Brandon Davis. We're going to take this break in the action. We'll be right back with more of the 12th edition of the Ride Shakedown, presented by Videotron, in just a few moments. Let's get back to the action here at the Ride Shakedown, presented by Videotron. From what I understand, we're taking 10 into the final tonight. And yeah, these riders are definitely struggling in these conditions. It's tricky out there.
Yeah, absolutely, and the crowd's starting to build here as well. So they're braving the snow, braving the cold. Michael Waugh up there, he's waiting, and he is told us, we just got word that the wind has picked up there. A jump this size, Pete, the wind definitely going to play a factor. So not only are we seeing, changing snow conditions, snow, flat light, now add that in wind. Michael Waugh making a smart decision here, waiting for the wind to die down a little bit before his judged run.
Yeah, you can see up there on the jump, there are 2 large Empire board shop flags, and you can see them, they're standing straight out, and unfortunately at a 90-degree angle to the jump.
Yeah, it's a big crosswind there, Pete. So I mean, that will affect the riders in the air.
In these tough conditions, Michael Roy dropping in. The wind is picked up. It is straight 90 degrees across this giant jump. It's called the Cab 9.
There it is. Oh, and just stopping through the knuckle. Wow.
So probably gonna get docked a little bit for that jump. It wasn't the biggest spin and barely made it to the landing, but again, in today's trying conditions, this could very well get him on. He hit the pole jam, he got a solid rail into the Videotron mobile rail complex here. So it'll be interesting to see where that'll take him.
Peter, I think the biggest highlight there was the fact that he did a proper cab 9 double cork. Not that 180 double backflip business we were talking about before, truly going off axis, spinning and landing through the knuckle, although not making it exactly to the landing area. A perfectly executed landing there. Well, Peter, his second judged run of 2. It starts here.
Seb Touton, Olympic athlete, X Games athlete, medalist, gold medalist. You name it.
Yeah.
This guy's been a part of it. He's won this event, I believe, no less than 4 times. Seb Touton, second and final run, a very uncharacteristic fall on the 10 earlier.
Very surprising, shocking to see that. So this is going to be his second and final chance to put this down. He's called the same trick, the backside 1080 double cork. Here he comes. You see him tucking into this jump, taking as much speed. Sebastian Touton off the lip. Oh, Peter, look at that, putting it down so clean and doing the board slide gap to fakie there. Starting on top of the double kink, going all the way down, gapping to the bottom rail. Wow, Pete.
Definitely more characteristic of the Seb Touton that I know and love. That was a solid run.
Well, undoubtedly, Sebastian Touton, part of the snowboard global elite in slope style. He's very much at home here. And being able to put that run down, seeing how easily he landed that. So comes a style component as well. Very controlled. You see him and he looks so easy for him.
Seb Touton, his score coming in is now jumped all the way up to second place, but was just short from knocking Maxence Perrault out of the top spot. But don't go anywhere. A lot of action still to come from the 2014 Ride Shakedown. Welcome back to the 2014 Ride Shakedown.
Our current leader, Pete, dropping in here, not a judged run. Maxence Perrault starting to heat it up here. He's coming into the rail complex. There's a backside 450 to fakie. He did a backside 450 270 off in the rail jam last night. That was something really special, and he looked very comfortable doing it there. So we'll see, maybe giving us a preview of his finals run. He's in contention. He's in first place. He can relax.
I think that's exactly what's going on. You know, he doesn't need that second judged run, so it feels to me like he's just kind of staying loose and getting the feel for everything leading into tonight's final. Second run of 2, John Versteeg dropping in. Hopefully got his confidence up after his last couple practice runs.
Oh yeah, we saw a spectacular fall from John Versteeg on his first judge run. Here he is, backside 1080 tail grab. Oh, and just landing deep. Last time he went too slow, landed on the knuckle, took a similar kind of fall though, at least landing in the area. I know he's gonna be very frustrated with that. He's got his hands up saying, I don't know, maybe it's time for him to
get some lunch.
Grab a Coors Light, I think.
That CL Smooth time.
Yeah, CL Smooth time for sure.
Unfortunate for John Versteeg. Very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, he's very, very consistent. He was on the podium last year, so I know to not make it into the finals is a big disappointment for him.
And there's Seb Touton really finding his stride in this weather.
Huge backside 720.
Yeah. He's got a camera on his helmet there, so I'm thinking maybe that this is to try to get a a clip of the jump.
Try to get a shot here.
Yeah.
Going huge. And you can really hear it, the fan support here for Sebastian Touton. As the crowd grows, definitely getting, I would say, the strongest reaction out of any rider in the field today.
Yeah. Hometown hero, if you will.
Pete, I just got a report from up top, and they're saying the wind's howling up there pretty quickly. So our riders, they need to get through. A lot of these riders need their second judged run, and they're forced to do it in the wind. And then we have a couple riders shredding in tandem there.
So as it stands right now, Maxence Perrault in first. He hasn't taken a second run, and I don't think he will. He obviously doesn't need to. It's not necessary. It's not mandatory. Oh, we've just gotten word. We have one judged run, at least one judged run remaining. The wind has definitely not calmed down, but the snow has. So Philippe Fournier is deciding, you know what, I want to crack this top 10.
He has been smart to wait for the snow to taper off here. So
visibility definitely much better than it has been. Yeah, you can see right there, those flags are, not only are they sticking straight up, but now they're bending over. So the wind hasn't let up, but as we mentioned, the snow has. So visibility, much better.
I mean, that'll give our riders a lot more confidence, for sure. Being able to see, I mean, it helps, obviously, everything, the light conditions, much better now.
And Philippe Fournier is doing a backflip.
Well, this one's for the crowd, Pete. This is for the crowd to watch. There is huge backflip. Who doesn't like looking at that? That was great.
Nice and laid out. That was very Damian Sanders, circa 1991. Perhaps a little uncontemporary, but certainly clean.
For sure. We'll see where his score comes in.
Marc Tremblay dropping in backside 7.
See, we're seeing the less is more approach. Hey, if you can put the landing gear down on this, you could get in the 11th hour here. Only 10 minutes left. Here he is, huge backside 7. Oh, and putting it down. If he's got a good rail trick here, Peter, he can get into the finals right now.
I'm going to be very, very surprised if he doesn't get into the top 10. The 11th hour, making it happen after blowing both his bindings off earlier in the semifinals. Marc Tremblay, his hair is terrible, his riding completely different and a lot better.
Yeah, coming into the Videotron Mobile Rail Garden there and doing a 50-50 on the barricade, transferring to the middle rail with a forward slide down the middle rail there. That's 30 stairs there, Pete, going all the way down there, getting it done. Wow.
So there you have it, our top 10. 2 Canadian Olympic team members in the slopestyle category, taking top 2 spots. Maxence Perrault only needing 1 run. Sebastian Touton in second. Mark Hoyt in third. Norwegian Emil Olsletten is currently in fourth, and he hasn't taken a second run, but he can't be knocked out of top 10, so I doubt he'll take his as well. And Seamus O'Connor in fifth. Don't go anywhere. After the break, highlights from the Coors Light Rail Jam. So the Ride Shakedown is a 2-day event, and the kickoff is the Coors Light Rail Jam. But the rules, they're quite simple. It's a jam format. I'm going to let Brett break it down for us.
Peter, we start with 40 riders in the qualification round. We're going to take the top 3, the cream of the crop, into the semifinals, which are going to meet the invited pros. The top 10 from the semifinals are going to go to the main event, the Coors Light Rail Jam Final, where they're going to dog it out against each other for 2 prizes. Number 1, the overall rider of the night, and also the best trick of the night.
It's going to make it real interesting in terms of strategization for these riders. They can get after best trick or best overall, see how things are going for them throughout the event. So let's get started. Coors Light Rail Jam 2014 Ride Shakedown.
Oh, wow. Backside 450 to fakie. It's a really great thing. Here's Anto Chamberlain. Oh, the first rider to hit all 3 rails.
Stacking tricks to hopefully stack the bills later.
huge. Craig Guelo, look at that. The cab 270 gapping out on the double kink.
The ramifications of not.
Oh, wow. Board slide up 270 to 50-50 on the pole jam to gap rail. Nick Tremblay, wow, coming in through the amateur round. Oh, and there it is, Pete.
One overall winner, one best trick winner.
Oh, wow. Oh, Max Perot. Getting it on the rail and putting it down. The crowd loves it. The backside rodeo, frontside, board slide to fakie. Oh my goodness! 50-50, backside 450. Anto Chamberlain going all the way over. Pete going coast to coast. Maxence Perot. Whoa, the 50-50, backside 450 to fakie. Looks like it's Sebastien Touton. Oh my goodness. On course here, looks like he's going into the 30 stair setup.
Coming in hot.
Whoa! Just pinballing between those two rails.
This is what we're looking for. The backside 3, the hard way to board slide. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh my goodness. 50-50 Wildcat. Oh! The level is being upped here, Pete. Oh! Whoa! Look at that! The crowd loves it!
What an unbelievable evening here at the Coors Light Rail Jam. Brett, the judges have come in. What is their decision?
Well, taking home best trick tonight, Peter, we got Maxence Perot. And for the first time in Shakedown history, we have an overall Coors Light Rail Jam champion, and that's going to Jonathan Truchon.
Again, unreal riding. Not sure what they're putting in the water around here, but that's it for the 2014 Coors Light Rail Jam. We're going for a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because coming up are the finals. All right, welcome. 2014, the 13th edition of the Ride Shakedown, Saint-Sauveur, Quebec. My name's Pete Anderson. I'm here with my good friend, Brett Sanford. Brett, do you want to set the stage? Like, what's gone down in the last couple days?
Well, Peter, yesterday we started things off with the Coors Light Rail Jam. A lot of our riders got familiarized with the rail setup. And then earlier today, we got going with semi-final action of Shakedown. We had our field of riders, and we've taken only the top 10 to the main event. Right here, the Ride Shakedown Finals. We're giving away $50,000 in the next 90 minutes.
Who are the guys that made the cut?
We got an international field of riders here. Let's go through them. Brendan Davis, Emile Osleten, Justin DeCastris, Marc-Andre Tremblay, Mark Hoyt, Maxence Perot, Michael Roy, Philippe Fournier, Seamus O'Connor, and of course, local favorite and Canadian Olympian, Sebastien Touton.
Quite the rivalry. Qualifying 1-2, Maxence Perot and Seb Touton. These two have been duking it out, if you will, all season long. Started at the X Games, continued at the Olympics, and here, coming to a head at the Ride Shakedown. You know, I hate to say it, and it's unfortunate, but the weather is most certainly not the best. It's snowing. It's been snowing all day. It's extremely windy. We can see the flags up at the jump, pretty much pointing dead 90 degrees sideways from the takeoff of the jump, which obviously is not ideal. So, you know, these conditions are going to be difficult for the riders.
Yeah, I mean, the strong crosswind's not going to be easy for our riders to deal with. There's a couple factors here. I mean, the snowing is going to change the consistency of the surface snow. With the wind, that as well is going to be a contribution to that. The biggest issue, speed, will be changing. So when you have a jump this big, Pete, you want to have consistent speed. You want to know where you're going to land. You don't want to come up short. That's how injuries happen. But this field of riders in specific, super seasoned, if they are up-and-comers and they are newer riders, they've earned their spot here in the final. They know what they're doing.
Definitely. And talking to some of these riders earlier today, Seth Hill and Mats Kulisek, two top shelf riders in their own right, unfortunately didn't make it to the finals, but they were telling me that the snow was most certainly an issue this afternoon. Speed, judging speed, it would change from run to run. But overall, both guys still smiling, said they had a blast, and they will most certainly be back next year. They love the setup, and as always, they love how the rail garden just consistently evolves and progresses and forces the riders to really use their imagination.
All right, so Pete, another update coming in to us here. They're going to take a riders meeting. So we're going to have a little bit of a hold on course here. Riders are going to get together, powwow, see what's going to work for them to keep them safe, to keep them riding. Although I am seeing some great riding happen here. The riders are hungry, Pete.
All right, Brett, we got the last few riders joining this powwow, as it were, down in the finishing corral. Yeah, news supposedly coming soon as to what we're gonna do here. The wind shows no signs of letting up, and I think some of the biggest issues with the wind seem to be it's changing direction rather quickly. It looks like, anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the case, Pete. Just seeing some changing conditions, whether it's wind, snow. Visibility, since we're under the lights here, seems to be really good. But yeah, I think it's going to be changing wind patterns here, which is going to affect, you know, the riders coming in here into the jump portion. So,
yeah, from what I understand is the for sure change in format.
But we're going to have a little bit of a break in the action here at the Ride Shakedown. And they're going to get their thoughts together, figure out exactly what they want to do. It is snowing. There is some stronger winds up at the top of the hill here at Saint Sever. So we're going to take 5.
The newest update is, unfortunately this evening, due to the weather, primarily the wind, which is gusting, shifting directions, and being very erratic. Unfortunately, well, we've had to shift to more of a show for the crowd. And yeah, they got an hour to go ride and have a good time. The jump is now, it's not so much off limits, but something that these riders probably are going to avoid just due to the danger factors. So, you know, once again, a testament to the Ride Shakedown, you know, love for snowboarding and snowboarders. They let them vote. They felt it was unsafe, and now we are moving on to a bit of a demo for the crowd here at Saint Sever. But the crowd's still fired up, as they should be.
Of course. I mean, you take a look at this Videotron mobile rail garden, Pete, and there's so many features, there's so much variety, and there's so many great ways to put on a show here.
And what was the latest? Because the prize purse is no joke.
It's been split up evenly between all of the finalists, with the understanding that we're going to put on a great show here in the Videotron mobile rail garden as you start seeing our riders get warmed up here,
you know, amongst themselves. Seb Tutom, back rodeo, front board.
Wow, and landing at the top of that rail and sliding most of it.
Check the replay here. Look how quick he rotates, and he lands.
He locks in, man.
Oh, fully locked in, no question. For guys that are worried about the weather, they seem to be letting loose pretty good.
Oh, they're going for it, for sure. I mean, that's what the Ride Shakedown's all about. You know, the Ride Shakedown is about putting on a great show, and the Ride Shakedown is about making these fans happy.
At the end of the day, once everything is said and done, this event came from snowboarders. The snowboard community here in Saint Sever, here in Quebec, here in Canada. And the snowboarders came up with the concept. They came up with a unique format. They wanted something that wasn't a contemporary contest made up by someone else. And true to the the ethos of the Ride Shakedown and its beginnings of being rider-owned, rider-operated, rider-run. They had a vote, and the riders decided this is what they wanted to do, and the Ride Shakedown listened.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this has the roots of being one of the most legitimate snowboard contests, not only in the country, but in the entire world, because of exactly that.
Seb Toots on the backside, rodeo front board, coming out that was ridiculous. That was a full 7 rail in the middle, upside freaking down, Sebastian Touton.
Wow, and just stomping it.
This is just, you know what? It's terrible that we had to cancel a jump portion of this event, but this right here is the epitome of the Ride Shakedown.
This is exactly what it embodies, and this is what these guys do day in and day out. And to get a glimpse into it here at the Ride Shakedown, something very special. Here comes Maxence Perot, backside 450. Oh my goodness, gapping all the way down to the second down on the 30 stair handrail. Peter, we have not seen anything like that this week. Wow.
Seb Touton, Maxence Perot, these are true sibling rivals.
Oh, here he comes, Pete, dropping in. Oh, my goodness! You gotta be
kidding me!
Backside 270 lip slide, gapping all the way out across the Videotron Mobile Rail Garden. Sebastian Touton!
That could not have been done any better. So that's going to be it for the 2014 Ride Shakedown. And even though Mother Nature didn't play as nice as we would have liked, the riders and the spectators certainly still had a great time.
Well, that's right, Pete. In true community fashion, the event organizers working directly with the snowboarders in the finals to give us an exciting conclusion right here at the Ride Shakedown. From Mount St. Sever, Quebec, I'm Brett Sanford.
And I'm Pete Anderson. Want to give a big thanks to everybody that makes this event happen. Ride Snowboards, Videotron Mobile, Empire Board Shop, Rockstar, Coors Light, and of course, everyone here at St. Sauveur, all the spectators, everybody that was tuning in. Thanks again. We'll see you next year.